Hi everyone. This is probably the hardest video I've ever had to make, and I'm shaking just thinking about hitting upload. But I just can't hold it in anymore. The secret is suffocating me. I need to get this off my chest, even if it's just to a camera, to the void of the internet. My name is Sarah, and I cheated on my husband. Not just with some random person or a colleague or an old flame. I cheated with his brother, my husband's younger brother, Leo. Mark, my husband, and I have been together for 8 years, married for 5. He's a good man, a really good man. Stable, kind, dependable. Our life together is comfortable, safe, predictable. For a long time, that's all I thought I wanted. We settled into a routine. Work, dinner, TV, weekends with friends or family. There wasn't a lot of drama, which I always told myself was a blessing. But somewhere along the line, the spark, the fire that used to define us, it dimmed. It wasn't a huge, dramatic moment. It was more like a slow, quiet fade. I still loved Mark, of course, deeply, but it felt less exciting. Like we were roommates who shared a history, rather than lovers building a future. And then there's Leo, Mark's younger brother. Leo is everything Mark isn't, and maybe everything I secretly craved. He's wilder, spontaneous, charming in a way that's almost dangerous. He laughs louder, he talks with his hands. He has this mischievous glint in his eyes that always caught my attention, even when I tried to look away. Initially, I just saw him as the fun, slightly irresponsible brother-in-law. Someone who'd show up late to family dinners, tell outrageous stories, and keep everyone entertained. Never in a million years did I think I would cross that line. But then we started seeing more of each other. Mark and Leo work in similar industries, so there were a few projects where I, being a graphic designer, ended up helping them both out. Those hours in front of a computer, late at night, in a quiet office. Mark would be elsewhere, busy, or sometimes he'd just say, "Oh, Leo can help you finish up." It started subtly, longer glances that held a little too much intensity, shared jokes that felt private, even in a room full of people. He'd compliment my work, my ideas, the way I dressed, and his compliments felt different. He saw me, truly saw me, in a way Mark hadn't in a long time. Or maybe, the way I wanted to be seen. There was an electricity whenever he was near, a forbidden hum beneath my skin. I'd try to shake it off, tell myself it was just harmless flirtation, a temporary infatuation. But the thoughts persisted, a slow burn that kept igniting in the quiet moments. The guilt started then, just for thinking it. The night it happened is etched into my memory. A family barbecue, too much wine, too much laughter, the usual boisterous chaos. Mark had had a long week and was fading early, dozing on the couch in the living room. Leo and I found ourselves outside, by the dying embers of the fire pit. Everyone else had gone.
One inside, or we're packing up. It was just us, under a sky full of stars. The conversation, which started light, grew intimate. He talked about his dreams, his fears, things he rarely shared, and I listened, truly listened, feeling a connection I hadn't felt in years. Surprised, he reached for my hand, gently, casually, and my heart hammered against my ribs, a chaotic drum solo of fear and exhilarating anticipation.
Then he leaned in. His eyes, dark in the dim light, searched mine, and I didn't pull away. I closed my eyes, and I kissed him. The moment our lips touched, it was like a dam burst. It was wrong. I knew it. But in that moment, it felt like fire, like freedom. It was shocking, intoxicating, and completely overwhelming. The thrill was so potent, it made me dizzy. The thrill of the forbidden, of rebellion, of pure, unadulterated desire. Everything else, every rule, every consequence, just dissolved into the night. The rush of adrenaline, the pounding in my ears, the heat of his touch. It was a sensory overload that deafened me to the tiny, rational voice screaming in the back of my head. It lasted only moments, a blur of passion and desperation in the shadowy garden. When it was over, the silence was deafening. We stumbled back inside, separately, eyes downcast, the unspoken hanging
Hung heavy between us. Sad. The moment I was alone, the thrill evaporated, replaced by a cold, metallic taste of shame. Tearful, I crept into bed next to my sleeping husband, my heart aching with a guilt so profound it physically hurt.
But that wasn't the end of it. God, I wish it had been. The secret became an addiction. The danger, the thrill of those stolen moments, the breathless text when Mark wasn't looking. We found excuses, fabricated reasons to be alone, to grab a quick coffee that turned into an hour, A work meeting that ended with hushed whispers and lingering touches in a parking lot. It was a dual life. By day, I was the loving wife, cooking dinner, planning vacations, holding Mark's hand. By night, or whenever the opportunity arose, I was someone else entirely. Someone reckless, alive, dangerous. The emotional roller coaster was unbearable. There were moments of exhilarating happiness with Leo, where I felt seen, desired, alive in a way I hadn't been in so long. And then there was the crushing weight of guilt. Every shared laugh with Mark felt like a lie. Every affectionate touch was a bet.
Rail that burned my skin. Thoughtful. I'd lie awake at night, staring at the ceiling, replaying every moment, every touch, every lie. Who have I become? How could I do this to Mark? He's a good man. He doesn't deserve this.
Family gatherings became an absolute torture. Sitting at the dinner table, watching Mark and Leo laugh together, share stories, talk about their childhood. All the while, Leo and I shared a different, terrible secret. An unspoken tension that only we could feel. My husband's brother. The man who sat across from me at every Sunday dinner, sharing my family's food, while holding my darkest secret. The hypocrisy was sickening. I felt like I was wearing a mask, a fragile facade that could crack at any moment, exposing the ugly truth to everyone. The fear of discovery was constant, a knot in my stomach. What if someone saw a text? What if Leo, in a moment of carelessness, slipped up? Every phone call, every unexpected knock at the door sent a jolt of panic through me. I was losing weight, not sleeping well. I became irritable, moody. Mark noticed, of course, but I always had an excuse. Stress from work, feeling run down. He believed me because he's a trusting man, and that made the guilt even worse. This secret, it's a living thing inside me, eating away at my soul. It's not just destroying my marriage, it's destroying me. I look at Mark, so trusting, so innocent of the venom I've injected into our lives, and I just break. I can't carry this anymore. The weight is suffocating me. I don't know what comes next. I don't know if I'll ever be able to forgive myself, or if Mark ever could. I don't know how to stop this train wreck, or how to confess.
Or if I even have the right to ask for forgiveness. Exhale sharply. I just needed to say it out loud, to finally vocalize this terrible truth that's been consuming me. Sad, I cheated with my husband's brother, and it's destroying me from the inside out. If you've ever been in a similar situation, or if you're judging me right now, I understand. Sighs. I'm just so lost.